Concerns raised on food security in Western Province. National Fisheries Authority partner with Education Department. And Wellgris beat Goroka FC in the Telecom National Soccer League.
This is National EMTV News with Lorraine Genia.
Good evening, thanks for joining us for Monday's news. Food security remains a priority for Western Province, says local Kiunga businessman Tit Kasiam. Kasiam has been helping transport food produce from all corners of Kiunga to sell at the town's main market and says if the provincial government doesn't react to the dry spell, many lives will be lost.
Every morning, women from all corners of Kiunga flock into this small market to sell their produce. The market may not be as big as city markets in Port Moresby and Lae, but it's the lifeline for most public servants and residents in Kiunga. Despite the dry weather affecting most of the food crops in Kiunga, other crops tend to withstand the harsh El Nino weather condition. And these crops might be the final food source for these people if the current dry spell does not weaken. Tit Kasiam is a local businessman who helps transport market goods to the town market daily. He says from his observation, Western Province is at risk of losing its food sources.
Doesn't come up still stop yet, finish yet. Logos me while I no come up, you're right. Now you back up yet, Lord Wise yet, so me plan it him. Some help from government or helping people, some kind rice or something or same plus you wait stuff.
Despite light to heavy rains over the weekend, Kasiam says the damage has been done already to most of the food crops in the province. Sego in particular was badly affected.
Some is short, come up good, some dry yet. Some suck to him while I dry and how to kiss him plateau. People are out to kiss him suck plateau while I still down yet.
He says the provincial government must consider the livelihoods of the people and start rolling out awareness on disaster relief efforts, something that is yet to start in Western Province. Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
The autonomous region of Bougainville's main referral base, Buka General Hospital, has been elevated into a top 5 health facility. This has been revealed by Chief Executive Officer Dr. Cyril Imako. Fabian Hakelitz files this report.
Buka General Hospital has been moved from level 4 to a level 5 hospital in Papua New Guinea. The installation of the computed tomography CT scan has boosted its level. Also, the recruitment of specialist doctors and purchasing of modern equipment similar to level 7 hospitals like in Port Moresby and Lae. Dr. Imako said with Bougainville's independence dream, the challenge remains for additional manpower, accommodation and special facilities. Dr. Imako thanked Regional MP Joe Lera for investing in life-saving equipment that has changed Buka General Hospital's image because of the hospital itself has faced funding constraints. Meanwhile, CT scan supplier Premier Healthcare Australia also donated 2 mobile X-ray machines free of charge. Regional MP Joe Lera said another machine has also been brought for 300,000 kina. With better equipment, Dr. Imako says it will cater for patients in and outside of Bougainville. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
The National Fisheries Authority has formalized their partnership with the Education Department to roll out fisheries trainings next year. The trainings will be delivered through the Technical and Vocational Education Training, otherwise known as the TVET mechanism. NFA Managing Director John Kasu said this in response to the fisheries developments that are happening in the country.
The formality was sealed with the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. Through its training arm, the National Fisheries College, the NFA has responded to a needs assessment report by developing a standardized curriculum. This curriculum will cover 2 areas.
Commercial fishing operations, Certificate 1, and also a course in small-scale fishing, so we could help with having those vocational training centres run courses for the commercial sector, but also for the the village community sector as well.
In order to reach the people who need this training, NFA and the Education Department will deliver these courses through TVET schools, while NFA will provide program materials and training of trainers through its facilities. This MOU means the certificates will be given according to the national training certificates. While TVET has 6 levels, including diploma and advanced diploma, these courses will begin at the basics.
This is starting with NC1 and NC2. So we hope that into the future we will be able to advance that training packages for NC3 and upwards.
This partnership comes at a time when significant commercial developments in fisheries are happening in the country, especially around tuna processing plants. Kasu said Papua New Guineans need to be prepared to take control of these resources.
So at the same time, when we're doing this development, these trainings are very important for our people. Like the processing plants are more, these are investments that are coming from outside. One day, I think we will also own our own processing plant, and we need to upskill our people to be able to manage such a processing plant.
Sarah Aupong, National EMTV News.
Papua New Guinea Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry can now operate in a proper office space. City Pharmacy Limited Group gave the non-governmental organisation a cubicle at Jack's Waigani Central. The office will serve as the headquarter to run the Chamber's business.
The Women's Chamber started in 2013 and has a membership of more than 200 women in Port Moresby alone. They provide basic skill development programs for women to excel in business and leadership. PNG Women Chamber of Commerce and Industry has helped a lot of women who run their own businesses, women who do not have the basic skills needed.
Basic skill development such as how to run a business, how to open an account, how to register your company, how to fill in your annual returns.
Now that they have an office space, their goal is to empowering women in business and leadership role. However, they cannot go further as they are not registered. The Women's Chamber is calling on PNG's Chamber of Commerce and Industry to approve their applications.
Request to the Minister to give us our registration because the Chamber is here to stay. The Chamber is here for the women of Papua New Guinea, and it is a homegrown organization. And the government of the day should be proud that its women are taking leadership in business and economic development.
They are extending an invitation to all women to join the Chamber. Vasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A joint report by Bank of PNG and the World Bank has found that most rural communities face difficulties in accessing financial services. Villagers travel long distances to access a bank branch or ATM, and for rural women, they do not own any formal financial product, such as bank accounts, or have financial standings to obtain a loan. Martha Louise reports from Leh.
The report was from a survey carried out in Morobe and Medang provinces. The report uncovered differences between how rural and urban Papua New Guineans are managing their money and how they access financial services. The report also calls for improvements in expanding financial services, such as banking to rural Papua New Guinea and to women. Women are less involved in financial management decision-makings in their own families and are most likely to be financially left out, unlike men. Another barrier was language. Most documents are written in English.
I think traditional passing lo yumi lo Papua New Guinea, where yumi all man, mipala all man, the male component there, we frustrate him or you suppress him, woman from playing an equal role in financial decision making.
Other important findings saw the need to make changes to financial products, services and programs. Financial education programs need to be modified and delivered to the people. And there is also lack of understanding of financial products and services. The survey only outlines the findings carried out in Morobe and Medellin provinces. The Bank of PNG will complete the national survey of financial capability to provide baseline understanding of financial capability of the PNG population. Once this is done, it will then assist BPNG and other government agencies in coming up with policies and programs to strengthen financial services in the rural PNG and especially with women. Mata Lewis, National EMTV News, Ley.
Nipa Kotubu district of Southern Highlands province is complementing the national government's education policy by building infrastructure for all schools. This is also in line with the Southern Highlands provincial government's policy to clothe all school-age children from elementary to secondary. Nipa district, through its education infrastructure program, has delivered classrooms, teachers' houses and libraries for schools throughout the district. Last Thursday, member for Nipa Kotubu Jeffrey Komal was in Parma to open one of the double classrooms.
Nipa Kotubu is one district that is addressing the problems associated with the national government's fee-free tuition policy. For 3 years, the district has continuously funded infrastructure for all schools, including elementary, primary, secondary and technical centers. Poroma Primary School in Poroma Valley has suffered from the tribal fights for years and is slowly getting back on its feet. The district administration, under the leadership of member Jeffrey Komal, has funded a double classroom for the school.
2014, me talk on some member building double classroom at Poroma Primary School. 2015, just in 1 year. Me no come kusai, me no come maswara. I'm you looking to black yes and avantage.
He said the district has decided to partner with the national government's policy of delivering quality education that can be achieved through providing quality infrastructure to accommodate students. When officiating at the classroom opening and the school's graduation, the member challenged parents and the community to work with the government to ensuring that their children receive quality education.
Long here, you may belong here, Poroma Valley, Poroma Primary School. You are very fortunate. You are very fortunate to have a double classroom. So that this is a motto below me. One leader raising many leaders will be fulfilled through that double classroom.
This is phase 1 of the district's plan in improving infrastructures for schools. Phase 2 will be building teachers' houses to take care of teachers' needs. Like Poroma Primary School, all schools in the district have been covered, and the member made another commitment of 100,000 kina for another classroom, plus another 20,000 kina for a house for the health officer in the district. Michelle Amba, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
Students and graduates of Parma local level government in Southern Highlands have united to put away tribal differences through awareness. These tertiary students have completed their second awareness to increase the number of students going to school. They say tribal fights have caused a decrease in the number of students attending schools. The newly formed association is on its way to being certified, but awareness has already begun, the first one in June this year. They are also urging students from primary and secondary schools from Parma to join the association.
Our number of students from tertiary institutions is not that big compared to other electorates and other provinces as well. So the main reason and the main purpose of coming up with this idea is to raise the standard of human resource. Over these past years, we have experienced tribal fights and all these things that have happened in Poroma, and then we are trying to unite. These students standing here, they are from this part of Poroma. Few are from central Poroma, Ava Poroma. So we are from all parts of Poroma. And because we have these differences, we have these tribal fights, all this, we are trying to unite first.
Teachers Savings and Loan Society, or TISA, opened its Kiunga branch over the weekend. Part of the financial institution's expansion in the country, the Kiunga branch will now ease the burden of many teachers and public servants in the Western Province who are opting for loans and other financial services this Christmas. Stanley Over Jr. with more.
For teachers and public servants in Kiunga and other parts of Western Province, accessing financial services has been a burden, especially during the Christmas period. But a bigger problem for these public servants is applying for these services, which will require a long trip to Port Moresby if applications sent from Kiunga fail to reach the city.
The opening of a new branch in Kiunga brings your services closer to the teachers and others who wish to access these services and products.
We're now officially declaring our Kiunga branch open for Teacher Savings and Loans members.
Last Saturday, the Teachers Savings and Loan Society opened its Kiunga branch for the first time in its 40 years history. North Flight District Education Superintendent Charles Brewer says the opening of the Kiunga branch will have a huge impact on teachers. Brewer says most teachers in the province are teaching in rural schools and are vulnerable when it comes to financial services.
With a high cost of living and paying for goods and services, these have had serious effect on teacher performance. Teachers, for example, are repaying loans charged at inflated rates.
TISA has over 1,500 members in Western Province, and the opening of the Kiunga branch marks the 16th branch for TISA in the country.
Kiunga branch opening today has come about because you board and executive management of TISA have heard the cry of our very loyal members spread around the province of Western. The members of Western Province have been very patient up until today, where you now witness the opening of TISA Kiunga branch.
TISA CEO Michael Koisen, while encouraging more membership for TISA in Kiunga, says the financial sector is not reaching all Papua New Guineans. Koisen says the Teachers Savings and Loan Society is trying to close that gap and introduce a more competitive business to boost the finance and banking sector of the country.
We now have the opportunity to do what banks can do. We have the ability to. But I can guarantee and assure you that we will be competitive because profit is not our greatest motive.
TISA has plans to cover all corners of Papua New Guinea with branches expected to open in Enga Province and other parts of the Highlands region next year. But for Western Province, the opening of the Kiunga branch now brings the services once available only in Port Moresby right to their doorsteps. Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the Kina closed unchanged at $0.3345 US in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.3270 US, $0.4524 Australian dollars, $0.2976 euro and 39.37 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee and copper closed higher, while cocoa closed the day lower. Palm oil and crude oil closed lower, while copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 367 points lower, the ASX closed at 6 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed at 5 points higher. And among stories after the break, a man bashed after attempting to steal from women. Stay with us. Welcome back to National EMTV News. A man was badly beaten by police and defence force and taken to Boroko Police Station in Port Moresby this morning. He was attempting to grab market bags from women on their way to Gordon's Market. Our reporter who was at the scene captured the amateur video of police and defence personnel beating the suspect. Bystanders were glad that the thief was prevented from stealing. Opposition leader Don Pollier says PNG is ranked as one of the most corrupt in the world and efforts must be made to improve its current rating. He says one way to improve is to protect whistleblowers, people who speak out against corruption.
Papua New Guinea is ranked as one of the most corrupt countries in the world, according to reports released by Transparency International during the International Anti-Corruption Day earlier this month. PNG is ranked 145 out of the 175 countries. A report shows that from 2012 to 2014, corruption perceptions index for the public service sector has never improved. Opposition leader Don Pollier says people must start to act as whistleblowers to expose cases of corruption in the country. Mr. Pollier has raised questions on why the government has delayed the enactment of the proposed Whistleblowers Act. The act will protect people who come out publicly to report corrupt practices. He made his remarks upon learning that a driver of a government agency was bassed up by security officers in Port Moresby for allegedly blowing the whistle on corruption within the agency involving the managing director. Quinton Alom, National EMTV News.
Porabara village is one of the 4 landowner villages of the liquefied natural gas at the Napa Napa site in the National Capital District. However, village authorities feel they have not received benefits from the project. They say the project is already in its 2nd phase, but life at the village remains the same as it was before the project.
Since the establishment of the LNG site at Napa Napa, there has been little done to benefit the people of Porabara. To this day, there are no developments in the area and landowners claim royalty payments have not been paid. Jerry Taumaku, Special Purpose Authority Director for Porabara, said landowners in the area have not been identified yet.
The government never had any good dealings or communications with the people on the land here, because Section 9 and Section 10 of the Oil and Gas Act is a pre-requirement to identify the landowners. Today, as I'm speaking to you, there is no landowner yet identified.
According to the village authorities, the project contractor, Esso Highlands, provided employment for the locals. However, it was only short-term. These individuals are now back in the village as they cannot get employment with the kind of training that was facilitated. Villagers feel rights to move to the neighboring villages have been taken away from them because of restrictions put by LNG project authorities. The villagers have to go out in the rough sea to visit friends and family in villages like Kido and Manu Manu. Mr. Taumaku claimed he was elected as the Special Purpose Authority Director for Porabara. However, he has not been sworn in to this day.
We have to be very, very careful. Our leaders must work together and ensure and protect the interest of our people and no other than.
Louisa Frank, National EMTV News.
Misao Islanders in New Ireland Province have joined hands together to address all forms of violence in their communities. But more emphasis is on the escalating violence on women and girls. This is a self-driven initiative that has now received attention from authorities.
Misao Islanders have agreed to work together to address escalating violence that has affected families. This was an initiative driven by one of this outspoken youth and Islander, Chris Alexson, who works with the Newcrest Mining as a graduate geotechnical engineer. Recently, Alexson led a team comprised of interested stakeholders from the sports and mining fraternities who have pledged to stop these ongoing threats in family life.
Many girls and mothers back at Murat, they don't know their rights. That is covered under the Family Protection Act and the Lookout Imprisonment Act. And there's some forms of violence like emotional violence, financial violence, and psychological violence. This violence, they are not recognized as violence in the community. It's normal, it's common.
Alexson's passion to drive this campaign grew from the Newcrest Anti-Violence Office. His own story also that one of her aunties was beaten to death by her own husband.
There was a recent killing in early September that involves one of my cousin sister that was badly beaten by her husband, beaten to death. She suffered pain from, I think, 2 canoe pedals being broken at the back, and then that affected the spleen as well, and she has to travel 6 hours to Kevin to get treatment she was not attended to quickly and she lost her life.
Busau Islanders have plans to carry out the White Ribbon anti-violence campaign. For Ibn Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
And Trukai Sports is up next. Stay with us for the details.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Now, Welgris Morbe United has wrapped up round 5 of the Telecom National Soccer League with a 2-1 victory over Gorka Gosia FC at the National Sports Institute grounds in Goroka. Shane Soroya has this report.
The football grounds at the National Sports Institute at Goroka came alive as the home side Goroka Gosia faced off with another lay-based team, Welgris Morbe United. Goroka had the home ground advantage and went into the match with much enthusiasm, and with minutes in they were on the ball and dominating possession. And with possession came multiple counter-attacks up front, with exceptional strikes fired from point-blank range. However, Welgris goalkeeper was up to the task with the man of the match saves, though he was forced to go down a couple of times. And just when all seemed to go so well for Goroka, Welgris midfielders fought back valiantly to gain control in the middle before sending a curling kick just outside the 18 yards mark to find their forward with an ankle tap past the goalkeeper. That settled the nerves as the visiting side led by a goal going into half-time. The second half saw the visitors regrouped and moving the ball out wide, with their forwards leading the charges up front. And as the cold climate, the pouring rain just added its toll on the players, struggling to maintain ball control. But Morbe kept their calm, and soon enough, Goroka conceded another goal. Goroka, however, managed a goal in the dying stages of the match, but it was too little too late. Welgris Morbe United claimed victory over Goroka Gosia FC, 2-1.
Ibla prepare come, but things will go out all right. We know our players, so but I think Ibla got big player working it.
After NSL been for 10 years, so we are only starting for this season, so we need more to go to correct Nakam on top.
Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
Still on NSL, Hekari is at the top of the Southern Conference leg of the Telecom National Soccer League after winning 3-1 over Huawei PS United, while Erma Gulf FC is in second place following a 1-1 draw with FC Port Moresby. However, in the match between Gigara Laitepo and PKA Rapatona, both sides were criticised for the standard of refereeing in their 0-0 draw played on Saturday. Both head coaches expressed disappointment after the game.
I mean, it's like the PKA, the sponsor of the Rapatona football. I mean, he was not happy with the match official. You know, like it was a deliberate foul on Patrick Isa. Yeah, so it made him so frustrated about the referee. So, you know, the Gigera has their game plan to put a lot of pressure on us to disturb our game plans. So that was the whole reason of the game stopped for at least 7 minutes or 8 minutes of second half.
Then I wouldn't say frustrated. We came in with a game plan today, which the boys stuck to, and it worked for us. We came into the plan to do a defensive job on Rapatona, which we did. Pretty unlucky at the end. We had a goal disallowed, and that should have given us the game then.
And to football news overseas, many Chelsea fans are upset over last week's dismissal of the most successful manager in the club's history, voiced their frustrations on some of the players who they say are really to be blamed for the English champions' spectacular plummet in form. Jose Mourinho will no longer pace the touchline at Stamford Bridge, but the tributes to the self-proclaimed special one rang out for much of Chelsea's 3-1 win over Sunderland.
Each Chelsea goal from Branislav Ivanovic, Pedro and penalty by Oscar, was met with chants, Mourinho, Mourinho. The home fans in 41,000 strong crowd rose to their feet for a couple of minutes in an ovation to him. In the stands, a fan summed up feelings of many others with a banner that read, "Thanks for the memories. You might have lost the players, but you'll never lose the fans." Another placard said, "Our Jose sacrificed." Why? When Spain striker Diego Costa's name was read out prior to kick-off, fans booed. Many booed again when he was substituted, as they did when midfielder Cesc Fabregas was taken off. Many Chelsea fans who spoke to media outside Stamford Bridge after the match voiced their support to the former manager. Mourinho was sacked after Chelsea lost 9 of the first 16 Premier League matches, one of the most devastating losses of any club ever in European football. In May, they won the title by 8 points, the third that Mourinho secured in his 2 spells at the club. However, not everyone was sympathetic towards Mourinho, with supporter Peter Fletcher telling the media that omens had looked bad ever since Mourinho publicly criticized team doctor Eva Caneiro after opening game of the season against Swansea City. Shortly after Saturday's game, Chelsea announced the appointment of former Holland coach Gus Hiddink as interim manager, the second time the club has turned to him to sort out managerial emergency. Chelsea, who began the day a point above the relegation zone, moved up 1 place to 15th. Mourinho spent the day watching Middlesbrough, while the former Chargers finally produced a display of champions. Shane Soroya, National EMTV Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. Following the hosting of the Schools Rugby Festival in the autonomous region of Bougainville over the weekend, the town of Buka is gearing up to host the first of its kind Sevens tournament, which will feature teams from within the districts. Aimed at instilling peace in the communities, the Rugby Festival is expecting teams from Buin, Arawa and Torokina from South and Central Bougainville. Meanwhile, Port Moresby-based team Hakatau Tai will be coached by Keith Puaria and will also be travelling to Buka to partake in the tournament this weekend. And over to Rugby League now. The Gahuku Rugby League competition in the Eastern Highlands province is one of the biggest off-season competitions in the country. The off-season competition consists of 28 teams from around the Goroka district and is currently into round 7. The main aim of the competition is to identify and expose raw talent. Jaylee Sapias reports.
The competition, which began in the 1980s, has produced intercity cup players as well as those who have played representative rugby in the Comals and Hunters jerseys respectively, along the likes of Stanley Gene and Noel Zeming. Gauku off-season rugby league treasurer Albert Atuso said a lot of talent has been discovered within the competition.
Plenty of players been making through lo hiai go lo lanis na go lo kumul na representing country. So Gauku kami by stop time by producing plenty future kumuls for this country.
The competition has a total of 28 teams taking part and is well funded.
Major sponsor lo mipla governor, medium governor lo Eastern Highlands Julie Soso. So I met them like anytime next week, this week or next week, but chipping in 20,000.
The competition consists of a range of players from the rural and urban parts of Goroka.
Plenty of settlements in Piswara, Genoka, Stone Block, Coffee Roots, all can take part. Plenty of only team rugby, so only take part in illegal activities and drug or breaking and or armed up, kind of something and me cut down.
With 4 rounds to go before knockouts, the Gauku Off-Season Rugby League Competition Board is confident of new and exciting performances. Jaylee Sapias, National EMTV Sports.
Papua New Guinea may have paved the way for all island nations in terms of sporting excellence in the region. Following the upgrading of Papua New Guinea's sporting infrastructure, Fiji's Prime Minister Frank Bainimarama told the Fiji Sun that developing and improving sporting infrastructure will boost the Fijian economy. This comes after the Fijian government committed large sums of money to rebuilding sporting facilities in the country. Following the hosting of the 2015 Pacific Games in Port Moresby, Fiji has won the bid to host the 2016 Oceania Swimming Championships. And that ends Trukai Sports for tonight. You're with the details after the break.
Trukai Sports. True Kai Sports.
And your weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region: cloudy with rain periods in Port Moresby, showers and rain in Daru and Alotau, and showers and thunderstorms in Kerema. In the Momase region, brief showers in Lae and Madang, morning showers clearing, then mostly fine in Wewak and Vanimo. And in the New Guinea Islands region, brief showers in Lorengau, showers and thunderstorm in Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and few showers in Buka. And in the Highlands region, all centres cloudy with rain periods. Your forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours: waters of southern PNG, Indonesian border through Torres Strait, and to Daru, to Kiwai Island, to Kerema, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samurai Islands, with waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands, with waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel, to Finschhafen, with waters of Finschhafen including Vitiers Strait, CRC Islands to Long Island, and with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas of 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And your ocean forecast for PNG areas: in the Coral Seas, seas slight with northwest to northeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Solomon Seas, seas slight with east to southwest winds at 10 to 15 knots. The Bismarck Seas, seas slight to moderate with northwest winds at 10 to 20 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean, seas slight to moderate with northwest to southwest winds at 10 to 20 knots. And now recapping our top stories for tonight. Concerns raised on food security in the Western Province. National Fisheries Authority partner with Education Department, and PNG Women's Chamber of Commerce seeking recognition from the government. And that's the news we have for you tonight. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Lorraine Genya. Pleasant viewing. Good night.